Alrighty, sir, thank you so much for being willing to be interviewed for Voices of Community Erath County Oral History Project, and thank you, ma'am, for being willing to be interviewed as well.
Of course.
First, I'm going to ask you to tell us who you are and to share a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Lonn Reisman, of course. I am the mayor of Stephenville. I was at Tarleton State University for 36 years as the head basketball coach, athletic director, and vice president. And been living in Stephenville for now almost 40 years, I guess, yes.
I'm Misti Reisman. I teach at Tarleton in the kinesiology department. I've been there this spring, will be 31 years. I've also lived in Stephenville since I moved here in 1993, so been here since then.
How did y'all come to live in Stephenville?
Well, I came to Stephenville in '88 to be the head basketball coach when it was a lot smaller university than it is today. And then from there, I became an assistant athletic director and moved up to the athletic director's job in 1993. And it became such a big part of the university that it was hard to leave. And so I've enjoyed the community, enjoyed raising children in this community and grandchildren now in this community, and it's just been home.
And when were y'all married?
In 2002.
In 2002.
Yes.
So what brought you to Stephenville?
I came here with work, and then when I got here, I actually transferred from the University of Southern Mississippi and saw that Tarleton was in Stephenville, and they had a physical education program at the time. And so I was able to continue my journey in education, finished my degree in 1995, and Dr. Joe Gillespie hired me as an adjunct and graduate assistant, and I've been there ever since.
And this was when kinesiology was in the College of Education?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Tell us how y'all met.
Well, I mean, you cross paths all the time. Misti ended up being hired full time.
Yes.
And she actually was coaching the cheerleaders and of course teaching a lot of classes in the physical education department. Athletics at that time was housed in the physical education department, so you cross paths, you meet people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And when, what do you remember most about the early days when you came to Tarleton? What were some of the things that just really stick out about the early times here for y'all?
Well, I think the early times were Tarleton was a non-scholarship school athletically back in that time. I think when I came here in '88, they had about 3,500, 4,000 students, maybe. I mean, it was at that time, our campus was growing still. I mean, they used to use this word as it was the best kept secret in Texas, which I never really cared for that because I wanted to be the biggest visibility that Texas has at the university. And I think that we've eclipsed that today, of course. I just remember that we were a real close-knit family type university.
Yes.
Faculty, staff, we really worked together. We really really cared about each other. I think that's one of the things I liked the best about the university. We were a family back at that time, and we were growing through. We had growing pains together. We saw where the university could one day go. I had some goals as the athletic director where the university could go. Back in '88, we were in the old NAIA and the non-scholarship conference and the TIAA, and we kind of dominated it. And I talked to, of course, Dr. Barry Thompson, who's not here with us any longer, great president, ended up being the chancellor of the Texas A&M system, hired me. And then Dr. McCabe came in, and he and I talked, and we decided we needed to look to how we could advance the university athletically, because athletics is sometimes, people don't like to hear this, but it's the front porch of your university. Whether you like it or not, it's what the newspapers back in those days covered, and it's what social media covers today, and television covers today. And I thought the big thing that we needed to grow is not just a university with athletically, but I thought we could grow enrollment-wise, and we could grow together. And I thought one way we could do it by pushing the athletic department forward, and that's when we joined the NCAA in 1993. And we went Division II, and we were invited to go into the Lone Star Conference.
And under your leadership, did we make the Division I push, or
We
was
did.
that right?
No.
Okay.
So, I had a dream one day that we could be a Division I university, and, we went through the Division II, we went through that transition. That was a 2-year transition back then, and became full members of Division II in the Lone Star Conference with all the other great universities in Texas that we competed with. And then when there was another presidential change, when Dr. McCabe and I actually looked in 2002 about going to Division I, and we explored it, and we looked at it very closely, and we felt at that time we weren't quite ready. And then when Dr. DeTavio came in, I went through 4 different presidents.
Okay.
And so Dr. DeTavio came in later on, and in about 2012, we started looking at Division I again, because we were growing at that time. We were getting, we were being very successful athletically. We were going to Final Fours, Elite Eights. All of our programs were very, very successful. And we were looking to what can we make one more jump that would give us tremendous visibility, not just statewide but nationally. And so we looked at it. We decided at that time, Dr. DeTavio and I looked at it very closely. Decided there was a waiting period still. And then of course when Dr. Hurley came in, I think it was 2019. You have to check me on that date, but he saw the vision, and he saw what I had been trying to do for the last decades, and we decided that we were going to go try to look at a conference that we feel like that would benefit what we're looking for: national exposure, statewide exposure, visibility, and we went into the WAC conference, and of course we were accepted in the WAC conference, and we went through 4 years of very, very tough transition. I was told, I've seen many times, I had a peer review team come from the NCAA. I had a peer review chairman from the NCAA. And when we came down to the final meeting in Dr. Hurley's office, I was happy to say that he said this might be the best transition that he'd ever seen in all the transitions he ever did. And that just looks at all the hard work that everybody was involved in at this university, and how we put this transition team together. And of course we were passed, and then next year we were finally eligible for NCAA championships, and now we're a full-fledged Division I school.
Well, that's an incredible athletic history at Tarleton.
So it's a long 30 plus year journey for me.
Right.
But I did have that vision way back in 1988, looking at this university. What would we become? Mm-hmm. Finally we made a move to Division II, and then I said, what can we do next? And it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of vision, and it takes a lot of hard work because the community has to be involved in this too. They have to, there's so many things that have to be involved in such a transition. Mm-hmm. Community, alumni, donors, but most important, faculty and staff on our campus. They have to, they have to be considered on how we want to move this university forward, because I talk to a lot of universities. And when we become a Division I university, we become a Division I university not for just athletics, but we get that type of vision for our faculty and staff. I used to tell them, we have faculty and staff are tremendous professors here. I compare us to another university. Why do they think that they're better than we are? Because they get the exposure of being Division I. But our faculty and our professors here are just as good as I look at other universities around the state. And when we made that move to Division I, that actually, I think that propelled their careers. Looking that I'm teaching, and I'm a professor at a major university now, and that helps them as they have vision for their lives and where they want to go. And so this was not just an athletic decision. This was a decision for a lot of people to move forward. And we made that, and it is a hard decision. It takes a lot of time. It took 4 years to go through the pains of it, but at the end, I think that it's everything that we look for in putting this university on the map, in not just the university on the map. Stephenville had already been on the map. They have done a tremendous job here. Stephenville High School's won state football champions, one right after another. And now, you put, Tarleton is winning championships in sports, and now being a Division I university, you're on ESPN Plus all the time. You're on some of the, you're on ESPN or ESPN2. It just brings everybody knowing where Tarleton is. We're playing in Phoenix. We're playing in Seattle. We're playing in Los Angeles. We're playing in Chicago. That says a lot of giving the type of visibility that we were looking for the last 30 years, to say, yes, we are a tremendous university, and people know where we are. We're not the best kept secret any longer.
It's an incredible way of growing at the university. You mentioned community, and the community really need to be behind all
Absolutely.
This campus community in Stephenville community.
Yes, right.
growing up or raising children, and now you said grandchildren in the community. Let's talk about that. What's Stephenville like in terms of growing a family, 1988 to now? How's the town? What was Stephenville like in 1988?
Well, I always thought Stephenville was a very safe place to live, and I think it's a very safe place to live with your children and your grandchildren. I'll let Misty talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think so. That was one of the things when I moved here, that I felt like I came from a small town in Mississippi that was very similar to Stephenville. The same types of restaurants, the layout of the town was the same, and you saw kids doing things that my kids had grown up doing, like riding their bikes through town, going down to the city park and doing things, and having a great recreation department. And so that was important to me when I came here. And and now with our grandkids, we're seeing it. Of course, it's changed a little bit. Traffic is a little thicker than it was when we first moved here. And even on campus, when I first started at Tarleton and started working, you could drive through campus. And so now it's not that way. But I feel like that it's growing at a pace that is doable for our kids and our grandkids. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the changes. I know sometimes growing pains are hard, but I think that what we're seeing now is all positive and reflecting well on our students, our grandkids, as well as being students in the school system here.
Talk about the kinds of activities that Stephenville had, or the changes that Stephenville's had in terms of, say, recreation, city-provided activities. We know that the university was a hub of activity, but in terms of of how people recreated in Stephenville, what's that been like over the years?
Well, first of all, you know this is cowboy capital of the world, and this is a city of champions. And so, we do a lot of things within the city and our recreational department. We have 55 baseball teams here last weekend coming into our city. We have softball tournaments. We have recreational basketball all the way down to kindergarten.
Yes.
And so, we're exposing the children to areas of not just sports, but socializing with their peers and developing them in that way. And the school system does a great job in Stephenville High School in that system, junior highs, as far as elementary schools, of educating the children. They do a tremendous job on that as we raise them up here, and as they go they grow very faster. When they get to high school, they're headed to college. But I just think we have a wholesome community that we all are in this together to make this the best, safest, give them the best educational area we can, give them areas of not just sports, but what other things we give them, whether it's the libraries or it's arts and sciences and things of that nature, to expose them to so many things that they need to grow and mature and find their way of where they want to be one day. And so it's that type of community, and I think that's why you're seeing the growth of the community, because people want to be a part of this community. They see the growth, they see what we're doing here, and the question I get is, how are you all doing this? What is, well, you look around and it's a very clean community. And it's a very safe community. With our police department does a tremendous job. Our fire department does a tremendous job. Our 911 EMS, we're building a new dispatch center over here. We continue to engage to make this community the safest, the best community that anybody would want to come. You come here, the first thing people say is, tell us about, we want to know about the curriculum. We want to talk about everything over at Stephenville High School, or what kind of high school is this? Well, it speaks for itself. You got a university sitting right here, but we have other things sitting here. We have all kinds of industrial factories in this community. We have a lot of, you go downtown here, we have a lot of people working together to make our Main Street one of the best there is. We have our tourism department that's doing a great job on bringing people to this community. Whether it's a Christmasville at Christmas time, or it's a Moolah Fest down here, come the summertime. We bring activities that we feel like benefits not the adults only, but it benefits our children to be a part of those activities.
Yeah.
You talked about the the D1 push. You talked about how the D1 push at Tarleton State benefited the faculty and staff on the academic side.
I think it did.
Now, I wonder the extent to which y'all think that that also pours out into the community as the community has a trajectory toward offering more and more.
Excuse me. There's no doubt. I think I have development people call me every, we have development people call. They see the progress of the city.
Right.
They're interested in coming to our city. The city is growing. When I first came here, the city probably had 10,000 people in it. We're at almost 23,000 now. If you put the university in there within the city limits, we're looking between 35, 37, 38,000 people. That's what you were talking about, getting down the streets. Yeah. I hear infrastructure questions all the time as mayor. But those are good questions. Mm-hmm. But we're bringing people here because they want to be here. We have new malls here. We just have, we have industries coming in. We have, I hate to say names because if I do, then people say you didn't mention my name here in this town. But we have Chick-fil-A, McAllister's. We have, we have different people coming in this community, developers that want to be a part of it. Corporate developers. We have developers that want to develop rooftops. We're getting that every day, and so this community is not done growing. So I know that people think we're growing fast, and I think we need to have planned growth. I've said that in my campaign. We need to have planned growth, but we're going to grow, and we just have to do make sure that we are understanding and how to handle the growth. That we're doing the right things for our citizens. That they can say we're doing this the right way. We're just not bringing everything to town. We want to bring the right things to this community. That's important. We just don't want to bring everything. We want to bring the right things to our community. That's what's important to me.
Stephenville, Erath County traditions.
Yep.
I've interviewed several people who talk about various things over the years. 4th of July, Christmas, etc. Talk about, from the time that you've been in Erath County, what kinds of traditions in Stephenville do we have that make Stephenville what it is?
Well, you hit on some of them. We got the 4th of July parade here every year. You have everybody in this town. If you're here this year, it's big. We have the fireworks that they all wait for at nighttime. We have Christmas bills. We talk. Moolah Fest is another big tradition here. That's a tradition. The university has traditions. They have homecoming. The high school has homecoming. Those are big traditions in this community. There's so many things tradition-wise that everybody is a part of. And what I like about tradition is it's not siloed. It's where if we have Moolah Fest, everybody wants to participate in it. Mm-hmm. If it's homecoming, everybody wants to participate in it. If it's 4th of July, you can't get it on the streets. It's unbelievable how many people are out. They want to be a part of it. It's very important that when you have traditions that everybody wants to understand it and wants to be have a part of that tradition, because that's what's important. That's why the traditions of this community has never wavered. That's why they're still there today. And I think that's what makes this place so special.
What are have y'all participated in them since
we've been here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even, talking about participating and everybody being a part of it. When I coached the cheerleaders and the dance team at Tarleton, that was something that was important to me, that we didn't just do things on our own campus. We made sure that we were part of the community as well. So we did participate in the 4th of July parade. My students would, the cheer and dance team, the band would be part of it, and we would even host a mini cheer camp up until that point so they could perform on the stage at the amphitheater. And so I tried to make sure that, we're part of the community. Our students are working in the community. They need to see that Stephenville is still your community that you live in. Tarleton's where you go to school, but Stephenville is your community that you live in. This is where you do. And so the connection's there. And so I always enjoyed that part of reaching out to the community. And one of the other things that, again, having the university is to make sure that link is there. And so my students, that was always important to me that we did that.
Yeah, you think about the changes. Misti mentioned it. Lillian Street used to go right down through the middle of the campus.
That's what I've heard.
When I first moved here across the Wisdom Gym on that side, you used to be apartments there. Now it's at the science building or not the...
Yes, the nursing building.
The nursing building's there now.
Yeah.
where that used to be Nancy's daycare.
Yeah.
Down at Barry B. Thompson, that was Barry B. Thompson was one of the first. That was a big deal for us to build that student center down there, Barry B. Thompson Student Center. Then we built a Lamar Johansson Science Center, and that street used to just be nothing there. And it's all progress. In fact, I think where the Barry B. Thompson Student Center was, that used to be a parking lot or something of that nature, and watch all the dorms that we built down Rome Street, and the new recreational department. I've seen that go up since I've been here, and I mean it's phenomenal, the growth. But then you take that growth that's phenomenal on Tarleton's campus, and you see the phenomenal growth that's in this community of Stephenville. Yes. And that's where you see it joining together. You know, we have a lot of entities here, and I can't start naming some of the industries off. I mean, yeah, we have FMC, and we have the cheese plant, we have Walmart, and we have HEB. HEB used to be a Kmart when I first came here. It was a Kmart. But, you know, we have 3 new hotels coming in town right now, which is huge for us. And one's going vertical right now. If you go over there, McCoy's, the Holiday Inn Express is already going vertical. And so we have 2 more coming in right now that I think will probably be ready here in the next, I don't know, 12 months, I hope, you know, or close. And you got more people calling to bring industry in. And so I told somebody the other day, this is probably you're looking at a community. It's probably it's one of the most historical times in the history of that you can talk about Stephenville from the very beginning. And so it's an exciting time. I think people, I think that the majority likes to see, you know, I want to keep people shopping in Stephenville, not over there in Weatherford and Granbury. Right. I want them to feel like they can get what they need to do right here in this community. It's important to us that we're doing that. You know, that's important to us that we have good medical facilities here. It's important. What attracts people to come here is what my job and what the city council's job and the city manager's job. We need to bring industry, corporate, you know, housing. What brings people to Stephenville? That's what our job is to bring them here.
Well, I think there's no doubt that the community is growing in a really great way.
Yeah.
To bring it into the family, can you talk about the traditions that are central to your family, whether they be holiday traditions or anything?
Yes. We do have a big family because between us we have 5 kids and 12 grandkids. They all live here in Stephenville with the exception of my son and his family live in Mississippi. So one of the traditions that we do is every July we make sure that we have a family vacation together. We've done that probably the last 8 years. A lot of people question that. They're like, y'all all get together? And y'all all survive when you do that? But we have a good time. And then some of our other traditions is on Thanksgiving, we always cook for the family, and not just our family, but my daughter is now the cheer coach, and sometimes they come with them, and our in-laws, my son-in-law's parents, they come. But it's important for us to be able to do that. We want our kids and our grandkids to see that, yes, it is about our family, but it's also about others too at that time, being thankful for them. Christmas, we always go to Christmas Eve, candlelight service on Christmas Eve. Very fortunate that Christmas Day is hard because of all the littles. And, you know, I get that. They want to be at their houses. But Christmas Eve has been a tradition with us ever since we got married. We go to Christmas Eve service together as a family. We come over to the house and have finger foods, and then the grandkids open their gifts. And before we had grandkids, the kids would open their gifts and then let them do their thing on Christmas Day. But Christmas Eve is our time to be with them. So those traditions have been very important to me, and it makes you feel good to know that your grown kids, and now our grandkids are getting up there, that they will call and ask, hey, what are we doing for Easter again? Or what are we doing for Christmas again? Or what are we doing for this? It lets me know that those traditions that have been dear to me are also dear to them because they ask. And I always think that that's when you know you've done something right, when your kids and your grandkids say, hey, are we going to still do that? Mm-hmm. And we do.
What's on the Reisman family table at Thanksgiving?
Well, let's see. On the table, there's always has to be turkey first. We have some wants turkey. We have some that wants ham.
Yes.
And so we have both of those meats, and then we have candy jams, and we have mashed potatoes, and we have 2 or 3 different vegetables. And I have to have a thing called, I'm from the north, of course, so I have a thing called Harvard Beach, which everybody puts their nose up against. They don't want to even smell it.
No.
And so Misti has, a lot of desserts, a lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of gravy.
You do.
It's
macaroni and cheese. You have to have that for the grandkids.
The littles want macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
Deviled eggs.
Yes.
It's a big operation when you have all those people in the house.
It is.
What is you can't leave me hanging now. So what is the
Harvard Beets.
Harvard Beets.
That's what they're called. It's a mixture of, you have to mix a sauce in with them. It's just not plain beets. It's a kind of a sweet sour sauce that goes with them. You see it a lot in the north. In the north, I was born and raised in New York, in Western New York, and so that was a delicacy for them up here. Down here, not
I'm a
so much.
Southern girl. That is not on. That's in his side of the table.
Yeah,
it's
my side
over
of the
by
table.
him.
They put me way over here when I start eating them.
They smell horrible.
I think they smell good.
Yes.
So let's hone in on there as we kind of about 5 or 10 more minutes.
I got about 5. Yeah.
Sounds good, sir. When we're talking about food, what's the recipe, the Reisman recipe for, if you had to give something to this project, what would it be?
I know mine would probably be chicken spaghetti or chocolate chess pie. And those are the 2 that my kids ask for the most, and my grandkids. And even I mentioned us going on family vacation. We actually go and see our other family in North Carolina, and that it never fails that sometime in that week that I'm there, I'm making chicken spaghetti for everybody. And I've always thought that it was something my grandmother taught me how to make, and we've always been pasta people type thing, and so it was good. And then the chocolate chess pie was handed down from my grandmother as well. So those are my 2.
Yeah, mine is my dad was a great chili maker.
Yes.
And so we eat chili in the wintertime, and everybody wants the recipe. Everybody wants to eat the chili.
Yes.
And then being out of the north, there's an apple in the north called Macintosh apples, which is it's the only time of the year I look forward to the Macintosh apples coming in around late October, and they'll last through December. And that's what I like my apple pies. My mother made tremendous apple pies out of Macintosh apples. They're a northern apple, and so those are they tell me that when an apple pie is made, I hide it.
He does.
And nobody gets a piece of it, which I don't know if I hide it. I do put it in an area where it's not very visible.
That's hiding.
But anyways,
Yes.
I get criticized for where is the apple pie?
Yes.
I haven't seen it. And then they always think that when I eat an apple pie, I take too big of a piece.
He does. When Lonn slices a pie that's normally 8 slices, there's 4 when he slices it. And he will eat the 1 quarter pretty quick, and then the other quarter not too long after that. So half of the pie is gone in just a matter of no time.
Sounds like you need to make 2 pies then.
That's what I
Yeah,
say.
actually, they are. We have a good friend, Lonna Green, that is something that I've never really been good at, is making apple pies. I can make the chocolate chess pies. I can do those things. But she will bring over that for Christmas and even for Thanksgiving. And she has gotten to where she makes 2 now so that he can be stingy with his and we can all have a little piece.
Right.
Yeah.
One more question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Community. When we talk about community, we can link ourselves through food. There are traditions that we have when it comes to food, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc., these kinds of things.
Yes.
What is it that means the most to you about community as the mayor of Stephenville and as the wife of the mayor of Stephenville?
I think that it's important, or what means the most to me, is knowing that people are comfortable coming to our home and being a part of that. Just like I mentioned, my daughter's cheerleaders, when Lonn was the basketball coach for 30 years, we fed the team every Thanksgiving because they were playing. And so we had all of those young men in our home, and that's community to me. Bringing in those that don't have a place to go and be a part of us and opening the doors to them. And now we're not coaching anymore, but our children are, and they're even bringing their friends and stuff with it. So I think community is bringing and looking into those that need to be a part of a family or a part of a setting, or like he'll say, we'll have a student or something, and I'm like, I don't want them going to Jack in the Box on Thanksgiving Day to get something to eat.
Yeah.
They can come with us.
To me, it's being able to love each other, and I'm talking about all races. I'm talking about African Americans. I'm talking about our Hispanics that live in this community. I'm talking about our Caucasian. We all work together. We all care about each other. I look at the kids that I call them kids. They're adults now. Some are lawyers, some are teachers, some are doctors that I coached in the last 3 decades. But they were all different races. I looked at them as they're my kids. They're actually my sons, and I talk to them today as my sons. They call me all the time, and I watched they've grown up with their children, and I'm proud of what they've done with their degrees and how how they've developed and what they care about, and I'm hoping that my example is that we're all here. We're all here. God made us all, and we're all here to get along, and we're all here to love each other, and I think that was important as people know if you're sincere or not. You don't fool an 18 or 19-year-old. They know if you really care about them or you don't. And I hope I was an example that I cared deeply about, not their basketball skills. I cared deeply about their educational skills. I cared deeply about the family that they came from. A lot of some had fathers, some didn't have fathers. I wanted to make sure I was a great role model for them. And being a role model, you take a lot on. That you don't fool a young man or a young lady that what you really believe in. And I think that a lot of them came through our home. I had a lot of young men come to my office. We had a lot of talks.
They come back now, though, even. And I think that's when you know you've done something right. When they reach out to you. I had a young lady on campus today that cheered for me. She said, this is my 20th year teaching. And I'm like, excuse me, what? Like you were just here. But when they come back to Stephenville, they reach out to us, or they come to our home and bring their new kid and they show us, or we get schedules saying, hey, we're going to be playing in this area. My kid's old enough to play junior high now, and we go and watch their kids play too.
Yeah,
that's
it's
community.
Yeah.
We all feel that bond.
We had a game this year where my son played for me, Chris, and then my grandson is playing at the high school level. And then Danny Jones was a Hall of Famer here. His son's playing in Brock. And then Andy Hudson, who played for me, his daughter plays in Brock. Well, after the game, here we go.
Yes.
We're one big family. I'll leave it with this. This is how I always believed that we needed, and my players use this today, the ones that are coaching or the ones that are just in industry and they're in management positions. We always believed in this when we huddled up and we broke a huddle. You'll hear a lot of people who yell, let's play defense, or let's play offense, or let's do this. I always made them believe in 3 words. We're a team, we're a family, and we'll believe in each other. And they carry that today. I just got a text today from one of my former players down where he's coaching in Austin. And at the end of it, he put team, family, believe.
Fantastic.
And that was our motto. Mm-hmm. That was our motto. And it still lives today on hundreds of my players.
Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank
Nice to meet
you.
y'all both.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Hope it